I don't know where to get started with this show, but maybe you already know what is this about. Adolescence is a British Netflix production about a kid, a 13-year-old kid who murders a classmate, stabbing her. And of course, it wants to address the knife crime in the UK, but with a twist, of course, because you know that this is the kind of things that Netflix does. They want to make you believe that the 80% rise in knife crime in the UK has to do with white kids, white red pill kids who listen to Andrew Tate. And I'm not gonna defend that they are actually bad actors everywhere and of every color, but it's like stupid trying to deny the fact that most of that knife crime, that rise in knife crime, is not white teenage kids. For some reason, of course, it's being pushed everywhere. Keir Starmer says, as a father, watching Adolescence with my teenage sons and daughter hit home hard. We all need to be having these conversations more. I backed a Netflix plan to show the series for free in schools across the country so as to many young people as possible can see it. This is nothing short of anti-white male propaganda. It's as simple as that. That is what they are doing. They are not only producing this kind of shows to, seize the narrative of the knife crime, trying to peg it into something that is, let's say, that not happening in the way that reality is happening. And as Jeremy Carl says, Adolescence is a blood libel against young white men. That's why Starmer wants to force everyone to watch it in schools. The blood libel is a feature, not a bug. And as such, well, you know that all the inspiration for the show in many ways, it has come from odd sources, especially when they are, let's say, color swapping the original material. This is something that we have seen so many times, but in this case is trying to push a narrative that this is not like making Cleopatra black or Anne Boleyn black. No, this is a more heinous kind of crime. And this is how they brainwash us into believing white men are the problem when in fact it's Abrodians. And we know that Abrodians is the problem. We have said it so many times. We have seen the numbers. And this is something that the UK government, of course, they are not helping because this is by design. This is to make you afraid of going out there. And of course, in the sense of Netflix Adolescence, is to, shame white men into your existence. Your very existence is a problem. You see this kind of headlines. Killer who stabbed schoolgirl Eliane Adam in white hot anger in row over teddy bear, jail for 23 years. Oh, white hot anger. Isn't that wording a bit peculiar? You find that wording interesting at least? Yeah, I do find it interesting. I found it let's say the memes, when you're watching Adolescence and you look up who it was based on and you say this doesn't fit. This is propaganda that is not only in the UK but is worldwide. Miss Joe, even in France, the top show on Netflix is Adolescence. The French are really happy to be pushing the message that the real criminals are 13-year-old white boys from solid families with supportive fathers. Not sure how exactly this helps anybody. No, this is not to help anyone. This is to push an agenda, a narrative, and this has to be called out. And sadly, there's so many crazy liberals online that say, this is, everybody should watch this show. They are missing the point with this. This is actually happening. Again, I am not saying that there are not white teenagers committing crimes. Okay, I'm not saying that. Nobody's saying that. I'm just saying that you're grabbing an actual issue of the UK an actual issue in the UK and trying to bend the narrative so, let's say, the wrong demographic takes issue about this. So you have to be careful with your kids. They not to be red pilled by the manosphere, by the incel manosphere. Schools to give boys anti-misogyny lessons to stop toxic masculinity in wake of Netflix hit Adolescence. This is to push more feminist narrative into this. It's that simple. It's all that they want to do. It's as simple as that. Because it actually works when you just overwhelm these teenagers with this narrative. Ultimately, for as much as you want to avoid it, you're gonna have a dent in them. Because it's not only, okay, oh yeah, this is a stupid Netflix show. But what about their classmates? What about their neighbors? What about everybody? What about the libtards family members? Because they are always libtard family members. Always are. They are there. It's something that we cannot avoid. What is going to happen? I'm not saying that there's going to be violence because of that, but I'm going to say that it's like we're getting fed up with this. And now you're Latino. You're not a white. You're not a white guy. Have you seen it? Have you seen me? I don't know. I could see like I'm kissed by the sun, but no, I'm rather white, so I take offense about this as well. Because yeah, you go anywhere. As soon if they don't listen to my Latino accent, they will believe I'm white. So I will take offense from this as well. Jack Pozo. The goal of Adolescence isn't just to vilify young white men. It's to create a bed of support for censorship of conservatives online. And this is a fake YouTube pipeline to extremism narrative that has no real examples. So they make a fictional show and people will buy it. I have been told that I have been pushing extremist narratives, super conservative, alt-right narratives on people, when all that I have done is to push common sense. If you look at the numbers cannot be racist. The numbers cannot be xenophobic. The numbers are the numbers. And when you understand per capita, that's when it dawns into you. Oh, right. So yes, this is completely misleading. This is completely misleading when you see who is perpetrating the knife crime and you accept that. But of course, they will never accept that. We know that they will never do, because that will take all their narrative down. But this is, of course, sometimes not for profits. This is like Disney. They do this for the propaganda. They do this for the indoctrination. They do this to push this so they can attain their brainwashing goals. As Charlotte Jill exposes, I don't know if Adolescence is a psyop, but let's just say that Tender, the charity working in conjunction with it, was very ready to go PR-wise on the day of its release, 13 March. Tender received $3.4 million in taxpayer funding from 2020 to 2024. So it's the very people of the UK who are funding their own brainwashing. It's that simple. It's something that baffling to see, but a reality. Full press release to reiterate, Tender, the state-funded charity, launched it at a special screening on the day. Co-creators Stephen Graham and Jack Thorne and producer Joe Johnson to explore the motivation for the series and the action they hope it will inspire. As a specialist in healthy relationships education, Tender strives to prevent violence and abuse, for it starts with innovative programs that embed positive values like equality while challenging the dangerous rhetoric so present in young people's lives. You should address immigration. You should address immigration instead of trying to push the narrative that white teenagers are the problem. You should be ashamed of yourself. We should call you out all the way through. Charlotte Jill, Tender is also really well connected to the drama world. Its patron is Olivia Colman. And in case you don't know Olivia Colman, I have compiled here some tidbits about her. She has supported trans rights, of course, in 2020. She had criticized the media treatment of Harry and Meghan. Give me a break. She has, leftist political leanings, of course, backing labor's arts policy, gender pay gap in Hollywood. This is the usual suspect. This is the kind of people, the kind of feminists who want to push this narrative. If you are a white guy, you should be ashamed of your own existence. And the tender CEO of the Downing Street Roundtable, because even the government of the UK made a roundtable around this show. It was so important was to them to push this narrative, to push this agenda, that they have made sure that everybody in the UK watches this and make sure that you never, ever think of, the wrong color when it comes to knife crime. Because, oh yeah, of course, if you do so, you might as well be thrown in jail for hate crimes or hateful Facebook rhetoric or something like that. You know that's what's going to happen. That's what triggers me so much. Today, Tender CEO Susie McDonald MBA attended a roundtable discussion convened by the Prime Minister Keir Starmer, alongside Adolescence co-creator Jack Thorne, producers Emma Feller and Joe Johnson. Bring Adolescence to all secondary schools in the UK and will produce guides and resources for teachers, parents, and carers to help navigate conversations around the important topics explored in the series. Full propaganda! John Carter has some words. A few years before I started high school in the Montreal massacre at École Polytechnique took the lives of 14 women. Every year on the anniversary, the female teachers would spend the whole day hectoring us about violence against women, insinuating that every boy in the class was a potential mass shooter held back only by their fearless nagging. The shooter's name was Mark Lepine, supposedly. Implication, just another white man driven mad by misogyny. I didn't find out he'd been born Gamil Rodrigue Leas Garbi until I was in my 30s. Guy wasn't French-Canadian, he was Algerian. But they let us all think he was white because they wanted to weaponize his crimes against the consciences of teenage white boys. This is exactly the same shit. There's no way around this. This is pure propaganda. And I wanted to make a more civilized video about this, but there's no way you can be civilized about the brainwashing of teenagers and the shaming of people that we have tried to. We have, how can I say this? I don't want to say things that I'm going to regret later, but this is outrageous. This is outrageous on so many levels, and I'm pretty sure this is not the last time we're going to hear from Netflix pushing narratives and propaganda. And of course, governments make sure that they use this propaganda for their own gain, to push their own agendas, to make to cover up to all that Abrodians are doing every day, not only in the UK, but also in the Netherlands, in Germany, in so many countries of Europe. And these governments are to blame. I mean, it's like they have fooled the public so many times, and they are hell-bent on the destruction, not only of the culture, but their citizens as well. Now, this is a reality, and we must fight back. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Bad Language Guy. Much love and bliss.